Hi everybody, happy Friday. Doreen from Door Designs here to have a little fun on this beautiful Easter weekend. On today's tutorial we're going to be designing a summer design with a ladybug. This is the ladybug that we're going to be using, and I got this ladybug off Etsy from a place called Ernie Made, and that's let me make sure I got it right. It is ERNIE, capital MADE, erniemade.etsy.com. I love going out on Etsy and buying from crafters who take the time to make and paint and design. You just get such good quality, and you really help out small businesses. So this is the one we're going to be using today, and I'm going to be using this little tray. I'm not sure where the tray came from. And then I just took a styrofoam disc that happened to fit down perfect in my tray. I hot glued it in and then just took some moss and put it around the edge. Now we're going to add some more moss on top, but we're mainly just going to kind of fill it in. It's not going to be a huge centerpiece. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a smaller one, but it's going to have a nice punch when we get the ladybug. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take my hot glue and put it all along the bottom of the ladybug. For my hot glue, I use an electric skillet. I've had it for years. I use Gorilla Glue sticks that you can get off Etsy, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Walmart. And I just drop the sticks in my electric skillet, turn it on about 325. Let's see. There we go. I wanted to make sure I had my tray straight, and we're just going to punch that down there. Hold it just for a few seconds. Anyway, I keep my electric skillet about 325. I've had it for years. You can go online. You can buy glue pots. When I started out, everybody just used an electric skillet. Okay, so we've got Ladybug secure. So now I'm going to go around and I'm going to fill in a little bit of moss on the top. Even though it's going to be filled with flowers, I still don't want any of my mechanics to show. So I'm using some brown, or I guess kind of a taupe color, and I'm just going to take it and put it right along the front. I'm going to kind of spread it all out. I'm going to take some floral pins. This is what the floral pin looks like. I don't know if you can see it or not. And once again, you can get floral pins anywhere. I'm going to dip the end in my glue pot and then just stick it in. You don't want to put glue all along the edging, because if it gets a solid sheet, you can't get your florals through it. So I always use floral pins, and I use them kind of sparingly. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the back side. Okay, and I'm just going to take my scissors and kind of trim some of this off. I like to have some, but I don't want it to be overpowering. And I just keep my moss in a nice big tub. Okay, so I think we're good to go there. I'm going to move this to the side just for a second so I can clean off my board here. Okay, my board is just a round wooden disc that we got at, I think this came from Home Depot, and then my husband added this attachment here that turns it into a little board that I can just turn it all the way around. I could probably paint it and do something cute, but don't have the time to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is solid black on the back, which you can see, which I have to say, I like that. I buy a lot of attachments from different people, and nothing I hate worse than when I get it, the back is not finished, it's raw wood, and it's got paint and different things all over it. I always have to take the time to finish it off and painting it. So to me, it's a big thing when I shop for attachments like this wood that the back is finished off. We are going to put some florals and things coming up it, but it still will look better being the solid black than, you know, all that raw wood. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the back, and we're going to add some tall pieces. I'm going to go with this yellow flower, and these I get from my wholesaler, but you can buy them from anybody online. It's the 60919. It comes about in every color imaginable. So I'm going to take it, and we're going to kind of keep some of these flowers coming up behind our little ladybug. And on some of these, I may have to use my pick machine because I'm using styrofoam, not dry foam, and it's a little bit harder to put in. Okay, so I'm going to show you the back. So see how that's going to cover up a lot of the back of the ladybug. So let's go ahead and add some more here. And we're going to spread these apart. And I actually kind of bend some of mine. I don't want mine all to come straight up. So see how it's coming away from the back of the ladybug? And let's put another piece over here. Using my stem cutter because no way can I cut through all that. Okay, and here we've got some twigs right here, so we're going to curl those. It just kind of adds a little whimsical to your design. So let's open it all up. See how nice and full that goes? And we're going to put that piece right over here. Now, if you were doing this for yourself and you knew where it was going to be placed in your house, where the back wasn't going to be seen, you wouldn't really have to worry so much about covering up the back. But I don't know whose home this will be going to, so I want to make sure it looks nice all the way around. Okay, we got our back. I have a little bit of a hole here and a hole here, but I'm going to put some different color florals in those. Okay, so see how pretty it looks from the front with the flowers coming up behind her? Okay, my next step I'm going to take some greenery and just kind of sporadically go around the edge of our base. So I'm using this greenery here. I got it at Hobby Lobby. The number is 402198. What I like about it, it's a pusher, so you can move your greenery up and down, and it's nice and long. So what I'm going to do on this design, I could have used this in the back, but what I'm going to do, I cut each piece in half. So this is what I'm going to use to kind of outline or go around the base. And I pre-cut a few pieces, but I probably didn't cut enough. So I'm just taking and dipping each piece in my glue pot. I know I talk about it a lot, but that's the biggest question I always get, is about really my glue pot and my glue. So all I'm doing now is just using this as a filler. So see how you can kind of see how it's filling in? I'm going to leave it light enough though, so it's still nice and light and airy. Because we're also going to be adding some little flowers. So the back's filling in nice and full. On my turntable board, you can use any kind of a turntable. I just like this one because it's got a large base. And on some of my big centerpieces, I like having the larger base. So I need to cut just a little bit more of the greenery. I'm just using my cable clippers that you can buy at any Home Depot, Lowe's. So see how you can kind of divide this to whatever you want. Oops, I just pulled that one off. Let me just push this up. And I think I'll cut one more. Okay, let's go ahead and get these glued in. Now I'm going to leave a little bit of a hole over here because I am going to put a little bow on this one, I think. And I think I'm going to put it right over there on that side. Actually, I'm going to leave both sides open until I do the bow so I know where I want it. Okay, so we have our base nice and full. Whoops, got one hanging on here. Nice and full. You can still see the sphagnum moss in between, and I like that look. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of some white. And I honestly, I don't know where I got this from because I already cut it up. But we're going to do a little bit of white going in through here. I love using white, especially if you're doing a design that's kind of got a little bit of a dark spot or a hole. It really brightens it up. So see how that white really is now kind of even bringing out the yellow in it. Next week, I'll be back on track doing my videos and Wreath Kit Wednesday. I had a crazy week this past week. My daughter and husband or her husband and kids, they just put their house on the market and they're going to be building. So I went over and with the help of Karen and we destashed, we cleaned, we staged to get her house all ready. And I will say it looks very pretty. Okay. Got lots of white going all around. So see how you can kind of see a line that's got the fullness up here and then going across. We're going to soften that with some little bitty flowers that are going to be red and yellow and a little bit of blue going all around. And we're going to do those at different heights. But I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and just make a real small little bow. And I'm going to use 2 dotted Swiss, I think. The white with the black, and then the red with the black. Okay, and I'm just going to do a really simple little tail coming up. And a loop, and I'm pinching it, twisting it, and doing another loop. And we're going going to do the same thing with the white. Forgot my zip tie. Okay, I'm just going to zip tie that down. And let's kind of move our loops around. And I'll trim that down, but that's what our bow is going to look like. I'm going to make the white just a little bit shorter. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a floral pin, and before I secure my zip tie down tight, I'm going to take my floral pin and go underneath it, and that's what I'm going to use to secure it to the base. It's going to go through the styrofoam. So let's tighten up our bow here. Zip ties you can get anywhere. Get a lot of questions about the zip ties. I use several different sizes only because I do my ribbon and bow bundles and stuff, and I include them in. Okay, so let's turn this around. And I'm going to put it right over here. Just going to dip it gently in my hot glue. And I'm going to hold it just for a second down in my styrofoam. I'm going to trim my tails back, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And look how cute it looks with the bow. I'm going to move that loop over just a little bit. I don't want to cover up the cuteness of the ladybug. Okay, now all we're going to do is we're going to add just a few more flowers of some different colors, because right now we basically have the yellow flowers with the white, and I want to add kind of a third color. So we're going to use these flowers right here. And I think I got these from my wholesaler. I'm not sure, but I know Hobby Lobby has some that are close to it. Okay, I'm going to take off some of these leaves because I don't like the leaves as much, but I'm going to push these up a little bit so you'll only see one row of the leaf, but I really don't. I might even actually take it off and then put my flower back on. Oops. Well, I don't know where that went to, so we're just going to start out with this one. Okay, now when you're doing your design, you can stop at any time you want. You don't have to make them exactly like I'm doing or as full, because I get a lot of people send me notes that you liked it either not as full or fuller. All I'm trying to do is just kind of give you a baseline on how to do the mechanics of it, and then the design of it, that's where your own flavor and taste for either your clients or for your home. Okay, I want to show you. Okay, see how just by sprinkling, whoops, a few of those flowers are going to break up that line, and I love how it's just got that really delicate little red and blue. This is the design you can keep up right now all through summer into fall. You could use any greenery, any florals that you wish. Okay. Okay, this one did come from Hobby Lobby. The number is 1080142. I have some others that I got from my wholesaler that look almost like it. Okay, I've got to take this leaf off. I'm sorry. It just does not look very good. There we go. I'm taking this flower at all different heights. And we're going to put in a couple more. I'll put a few more on the side. So see how nice and springy and summery? Just a couple more and we will be done with our ladybug design. I'm bringing a little bit up through my bow on some of the color here. And I can't take it right next to the ladybug because of the base, of that wood base. Move some of this out of the way. Okay, let's kind of look and see what we've got. She is looking good. I've got one little hole here in front that I'm going to fill, and then I'll turn it around. I'm just using a few pieces of the white. Okay, I'm looking for my other one that I had. I have one more bush of the little flowers, but I don't know where I've laid it. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do after the video, before I post the pictures. I'm adding one more piece of yellow. I've got this yellow all coming up along in here that's so pretty, and I've got the white and the little flowers, but I feel like I need a piece of yellow like right in here to kind of help balance that out. So I am going to take another piece of it. And I want the piece that's got all the little berries on it. So I'm going to add this in there. So let's move it apart a little bit. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, let me get this kind of cleaned up around here a little bit, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And I'll move the board out of the way, the turntable. I had laid out a bunch of other different flowers, but we're not going to use those because we don't need them. Okay, guys. So here she is. Isn't she adorable? She just looks like she's outside, surrounded by flowers. Now, what I'm going to do, since I don't know where I place my other branch of greenery or little florals, I'm going to take just some really small pieces, and I'm going to sprinkle some along here in the bottom to kind of soften up the white here. But honestly, I don't know where I laid it down. So just to recap real quick, we did solid base. We used a round styrofoam disc. I took hot glue on the bottom, pressed it down in. I took sphagnum moss, put it all around the perimeter of the styrofoam. We glued on our beautiful little ladybug here. We took some greenery, went around the perimeter of it. We put in some spikes, and I used I used 3 going across the back, and then 1 down here in the middle. And then we just took some white and sprinkled those throughout the design. And then we added our little colors. And you could use any colors you wanted. And then we did a very simple little bow to kind of accent her little polka dots with the red and the black. And I chose to go with dotted Swiss. Okay, that is it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this little ladybug. I love her. I might have to order another one, so I have one. I might keep one in my house. And once again, the ladybug came from Ernie Made, ERNIEMADE on Etsy, and it's one word. So everybody have a blessed Easter weekend. I hope it's a beautiful weekend for all of you. And then I will be back, like I said, next week, back on schedule. Everything's done at Lauren and Pete's house, so I'm ready for kind of a quiet week. So enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.